Okay, what we thought we would do this afternoon was take an opportunity to give everybody an opportunity to try to work on some key message points that we can develop. Obviously, it's going to be a real challenge to come up with one key message and 2 or 3 supporting statements, but I think it at least is worth a shot. But before we get started, I wanted to just kind of review what we took down. Was it this morning? About our reflections on yesterday. I mean, I showed some of my comments, my reflections, and then we had a lot more really good ideas. And what I want to do is just to read through these real quickly to get you thinking about it again. You've heard us talk about the importance of message development and message delivery. And again, the really key thing I want you to remember is keep it simple. Because amongst ourselves, myself excluded, we're talking to scientists. People that really know the different aspects of this field inside and out. But when you're trying to take your message to the broader market, you're talking to little misapplication here. Just the man or woman on the street that probably doesn't have the scientific background, that doesn't have the training, but that is very interested in the message. So, this wasn't one of the messages from this morning, obviously, but here's an example of a real simple message point that says tons. Little misapplication. More is not better. By using more pesticide or fertilizer than is recommended on the product label, I'm having to read this, sorry.
I'll hold it.
You want to hold it? Here, let's both hold it. You will waste money, may hurt the plant, and risk environmental and human health. That's the message point. More is not better. Here's your main supporting point. By using more pesticide or fertilizer than recommended on the product label, you will waste money, may hurt the plant, and risk the environment. And then follow up, reading the label and following the directions will give you and your plants the results you both desire.
And I think a little background on this might be useful. When the community IPM group first started working, one of the ideas we thought if we could all get together and as a region come up with some good marketing materials and then use them, that would be a good thing. So these are some materials that Penn State has put together for their flower show, where they get, I don't know how many hundred. Rick, you want to talk about it?
We get 300,000, but these are reusable. The problem we had with these, and every year we do this, we do these for one event where people come by, 300,000 people attend the show. We estimate that we get over 10,000 visitors at the exhibit. We take these to the show for that exhibit, but then we try to reuse them, and that's where it gets complicated. Because when they get reused, you have to put a little bit more information on it because you don't know what kind of staff is going to be with the poster. So instead of having quick and very simple messages, we had quick and simple messages with a little bit of explanation, because when it goes out into the field, there may not be an agent with it to explain the facts.
Right, and what we're doing now is I think 3 states are going to be taking these. We're going to be using these in Rhode Island or some version of these with our Master Gardener booth, so that when a member of the general public comes up to a Master Gardener and instead of just asking a question about their marigold, they might be directed to wonder about this particular message. Lynn, did you have a question?
4 states.
4 states, 4 states.
So again, here's another really simple message. Collateral damage. Just a statement to grab the audience's attention. And the key message, don't apply fertilizer or pesticides to driveways, sidewalks, or roadways. That seems pretty obvious. But it's not. People don't think about that. Fertilizer and pesticide granules that land on hard surfaces can be washed into storm sewers and ultimately our water sources. Supporting fact. If you do, sweep it up and put material back on the lawn or in the shrub bed where you intended it to be. Second supporting message. And then down here, kind of a supporting message to the overall. If it's windy, don't spray. Even in a light wind, spray droplets can drift across your property and land where they were not intended, possibly damaging desirable plants. I mean, and how many times have you guys tried to explain to somebody the challenges of cleaning up after you're a pesticide or a fertilizer application? And how long does it take to explain to somebody that if you get the material on a hard surface, you know, you in effect have waterfront property. You know, it's going to go right into the stormwater. So again, you know, I think Penn State, Rick and his group have done a great job, you know, kind of taking those concepts of simple key messages that are easy to understand and memorable, and you know, used it to create the posters, which, by the way, are great public relations tools. So we'll leave these up here. We'll take a couple of breaks this afternoon and encourage you to come up. There are two more.
Are these yours, Rick, or are these Scott's?
They're Penn State.
They're everybody's.
There, okay.
So a mower runs through it. Again, just talking about, you know, cut high, make sure your blades are sharp. Ripping, tearing, mowing with dull blades. And then the last one, again along the mower line, clumps and piles. And what happens when you don't mow enough, and bagging grass clippings don't do it. So again, look at the key messages here and the supporting facts, and how it doesn't have to be complicated. You know, my kids would understand this. They're college kids. But, you know, 10 years ago they would have understood. And, you know, the average gardener, the average homeowner that's fertilizing and taking care of their lawn, or not, you know, would also be able to look at these simple messages and, you know, walk away with what we want them to walk away with. So what were some of the key messages we talked about this morning? And reflections. I'm just going to go through these, not in any particular order. But one of the concerns was how to measure current practices and change in practices.
Do we need a mic? Can you hear?
I asked for it.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
Should I put the mic on? Hello, testing. Does it work? Can anybody hear anything different?
No.
No?
Okay, there you go.
Turn it on, it helps. Consider itemizing your priorities. That's a good message for key message development. You got to prioritize and list. Healthy lawns can tolerate pests better. That can apply to pesticides, it can apply to fertilizer, it can apply to organic, it can apply to standard practices. Back statements up with science. I mean, I am telling you to be as simple as possible with your key messages and your supporting facts, but you, whoa, pretty sweet. I'll turn it down just a little bit. I tend to be kind of loud anyhow. But you do have to have that scientific support for your messages. When we were talking about the newspaper interview, you know, your biggest challenge is getting the interview in the first place, convincing the reporter to write the story, or when they call you about the story, taking control of that. They'll let you get away with that with your key message. Healthy lawns can tolerate pests better. Okay, that's a great story. Well, why is that? You have to have a couple of supporting messages, but the good reporter is then going to want to know the science behind those supporting messages. Otherwise, it's literally just, you know, a headline and a subhead. It's not a complete story. You can still come back to your key message that a healthy lawn will tolerate pests better,